the first thing we're going to talk about today is plugging in the answers. So this is one of the techniques you can use kind of anywhere on the test. Like it'll come up a lot as something that you can use. The basic thing you're looking for, so we'll look at this question to start with, is a situation where you might feel like you need to write an equation. So this says John is twice as old as Justin and half as old as Jacob. So we might have to write out an equation there. It would be hard because everybody's name starts with a J, so we have a lot to kind of keep track of. It goes on to say if the sum, so that's important, if we add them up, of their ages is 42, then how old is John? So I could write an equation for this, but what I want to show you today is the option that you have to plug in the answers. You'll notice that the answer choices here go in order, right? Starts with 8, goes to 16. So what I'm actually going to do is start here in the middle with C. So the question says that these are John's possible ages, right? Then how old is John? So I'm going to say to start with, okay, John is 12. So then I'm going to reread the question. So it says John is twice as old as Justin. So if John is 12, then Justin is 6. Okay, and John is half as old as Jacob. So if John is 12, then Jacob is 24. Okay, the question again says sum, which means I add them all together. So you have a calculator, you can do that. 12 plus 6 plus 24 is 42. So that just so happens to be our correct answer. I didn't have to write an equation, I just used that as my answer. Okay, now we're going to look at an example and I'm going to ask for some help. So here's another example. The same kind of scenario applies. It says a basketball player has game tickets to give out to members of his family. He gives his cousin 4 tickets, his brother half of the remaining tickets, and his parents 8 tickets, and has 6 tickets left. How many tickets did the player have to begin with? Same situation, right? I could write an equation for this, or I notice I have numbers in the answer choices. So Lauren, where would we start on this if we wanted to plug in the answers?
I think it'd be best to start on 40 because it's in the middle. And if you get something that needs to be smaller, you're down to 2 answers. And if you get something that needs to be bigger, you're also down to 2 answers, or it's just C again. And
Perfect.
you already have the answer.
Right? It worked out great the first time. Okay, so I like that. So let's start with 40. So this is the number of tickets he had to start with. So do you want to help me kind of go through the question?
Sure.
And figure out what we need to do?
Okay, so he gives his cousin 4 tickets.
Okay.
So minus 4. His brother, half of the remaining tickets. So we have 36 divided by 2.
Perfect. Okay.
And we're down to 10 because we're subtracting 8 for the parents.
Okay, parents have 8, so minus 8 is
and
10.
10 is not 6. So
10 is not 6. Okay, so we're going to get rid of C. Now, was 10 too big or too small?
It was too big.
Too big. So what else can we get rid of?
It's D and E.
Perfect. So that really quick narrows down our answer choices, right? So which one would you like to try next?
B, 36.
B, all right. So we've got 36. Okay.
Minus 4.
Okay.
For his cousin.
Okay.
Divided by 2.
Okay.
And then minus 8, which is not the answer because 16 minus 8 is not 6. So we know it has to be A.
Same thing. So it has to be A. If you had extra time, you could check that, but you don't really need to, right? You've narrowed down everything else. And so you've got an answer choice. We didn't have to write an equation. We were just able to plug in the answers. So kind of in summary, you can use this anytime you're tempted to write an equation, like those 2 examples we just saw. Always start with C. If you start with A, you run the risk of having to check all of them. Like if the answer is E, you might work your way through all of them. So that'll save you some time. And remember, this is a strategy you can use on a lot of problems on the test, but you might not have to, right? You might have another way to solve the problem, but this is just a good opportunity that you can use.